I've said 99.9% of Muslims.
Even your friends don't agree with you, man. Even they're dishing you. Even they're dishing you.
Good people.
Come on.
Since you all jumped at me, let me just. We actually have no.
Yes.
I thought you were fair. The whole world is fair.
You're forced to defend it.
You're no different than him now.
We're supposed to be lambasting him.
Why don't you all come and stand behind him?
Come behind there.
We're supposed to be we're supposed to be lambasting him.
He's a closet Muslim, didn't you know? He's a closet Muslim.
We're supposed to be lambasting him. We just had to defend him. Listen, Abbas, unfortunately,
I'm happy for you on the crowd.
That political speech that you just made there.
It's really annoying. What's that? Don't
You can only speak.
If I want to,
you can only speak for yourself, and maybe I don't know how many people that sort of you teach or you follow, but it's a tiny fraction of the representation of Muslims, because we both know that there's all sorts of Muslims.
Of course,
the big two are Sunnis and Shias,
well,
and then you get
she's a 20%. They're a minority.
Yeah, I know. 1.3 is a lot of people,
well, okay.
right? And even with Sunnis, there's all sorts of factions within the Sunni.
There's some things that we fundamentally agree upon, right? So, for example,
no, but Abbas. Okay.
Abbas, the prophets of Allah.
No, you don't agree on the Quran. That's the point.
No, we do.
You don't.
No, we do.
You don't. That's why it's split. You don't. Anyway, right? So, at best, right, you can only give that apology for your version and your interpretation of Islam, right? No, that's number one. That's number one. Number two, when you read the Quran, right, it is full of pathological, maniacal, maniac behaviour by your God.
Like one.
Just
Name one.
Just for not believing.
Name one. Name one.
Let's go.
Have you got all night? I love the way he says name one. That's even funny.
Listen. It's this riddle. The whole book is riddled. Back to front of pathological, sadist behaviour. Hold on. By your God. Hold on.
And hold a second. That you've interpreted through your subjective reasoning.
No. I've read the book.
That one.
Right?
I've read the book.
So you've come to your conclusion.
I've read the book.
No. But that's your conclusion, right?
I haven't got no choice.
Based on your nurture and your nature.
Oh, he's going there.
And your knowledge. And your understanding.
I love the way he's doing it.
And your ability to assimilate what is reasonable and not reasonable, right?
Ask the question then.
So those limits of morality that you place are subjective, right?
No.
They are subjective.
They're subjective,
right?
Because of my standard of harm,
right?
My goal in life,
yes.
and the goal of most humanists and rationalists, and people that live in a secular environment and community, is to try and mitigate and minimise harm.
Okay,
that's the
alcohol,
goal.
drugs. Sex before marriage,
immorality.
So
what?
It's killing millions of people.
Listen,
how do you solve those problems?
It's not quite the same as somebody actually coming and killing.
How do you solve those problems? There's 100,000 children living in a house where one or both parents are alcoholics. What answers do you have for that?
Listen.
Drugs has become an epidemic. What's your answers for that? 100 million people in America have a sexually transmitted disease. A third of the population.
Where'd you get that figure?
That's a figure on the internet. Go Google it. A third of the American population have a sexually transmitted disease at one time in their life.
I'm coming to you.
What's your solution to that?
I'm coming to you. Hold on.
What's the solution to respectability for your old people in your community? What's about that? Who cares for those people?
Abbas.
Exactly.
Where is your
Where's
God?
your morality?
Where is your God?
Where are your answers for that?
No, Abbas, I can't let you.
You don't have answers for that.
Abbas,
do you?
Abbas.
And if you look at
we
society
can't
today,
let you get away.
I'm
sorry.
The immorality of society.
I'm sorry.
The immorality of society today
I'm sorry.
is increasing every day. And there's no way of turning it back.
No, it's not.
Unless you have
Abbas,
something that's
millions of Muslim children perish
Yes.
from simple hunger.
Yes.
Where is your God?
Yes.
To magic the food out of fresh air. Where is it?
Because your concept of life.
Your
concept.
Because they're dying and perishing.
Your concept of
Brainwashed.
Your concept of life and death. Hold on a second.
Yeah, go on.
Is that death is an end?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Not for us.
Well, prove it then.
Death is the beginning. Proof.
So just that.
And so you're attributing a happy, contented, fulfilled life,
limited life,
as your success.
Yes, yes,
For us, success is to attain paradise.
So where is the paradise? Where is it?
So if that child, as you say, perishes and dies, because of the fact that despite being able to produce more than 20 billion people's worth of food on this planet, we choose to produce less than 4 or 5 billion people.
What are you talking about?
That is correct, right? Am I right on that? We can produce more than 20 billion people's worth of food on this planet if we want to. And we can't feed the 7 billion. What happens there? That's a moral issue. That's a political issue. That don't blame God for that. God has given you the ability. God has given you the ability to produce that food. Has given you the knowledge, the understanding, the ability to distribute it. And you choose not to. And then you blame God. And then you blame God. You can't blame God for that.
You must blame God.
Okay, let's just take it back down.
If you look at the people in Africa, the leaders, they deliberately don't spend the money on food and they spend it on arms. And you're blaming God for that? He's responsible.
Can I say something? Now, let's just forget about the rest of the 4.5 million sets of people. Because they don't count, because they're not Muslims as far as you're concerned.
No, that's not true. We
don't
say that.
Yes.
No, we don't believe that.
We don't believe that. You don't believe that.
We don't believe that.
Because you're a liberal secularist.
No, that's not true.
Yes, you are. You're a liberal secularist.
You don't even know why I believe.
So you don't believe that.
I can get a liberal.
Listen.
I can see that.
I'm not a secularist, am I?
Yes,
you know what I mean?
you are.
It's all dodgy.
He's a socialist.
Abbas,
It's all dodgy.
Abbas.
I'm a secret.
Abbas, you're a liberal secularist.
So
that's why you try.
Really?
That's why you try to interpret the Quran on that basis.
Not at all.
But the Quran says something completely different. If you are not a believer in Islam, you're doomed. So let's forget the other 4.5 billion sets.
That's not true.
And let's concentrate on Muslims.
That is not true.
Let's concentrate.
That's not true.
If it's not true, can we hear why?
Yeah, can you hear why? I'll tell you why. Because no, it's just a fair question.
That's a fair question.
Right, it's a fair question. Because when you talk about Muhammad, for example, peace be with him, coming 14 centuries ago, we don't believe that all of the people before were condemned to hellfire.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because
Who says that?
Because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
I'm sorry, you don't speak for all Muslims.
Hold on a second.
You do not speak for all
Listen,
Muslims.
if some Muslims say that they are condemned,
You don't-
Hold on a second. And I'm telling you that they're not. Then the easy way is, why do I say what I say? What's my evidence for saying it? Right?
Because you're-
and my
you-
evidence. Hold on a second.
Because you live in
my
Britain
no,
as a secular
not
Muslim.
At all.
Yes, you do.
No,
Yes,
it's
you
not
do.
at all.
Yes.
Not at all.
You do.
No, because the Islamic principle is.
No.
Hold on a second. The Islamic principle is.
Okay, let's go to the
from
Quran.
Adam, peace be upon him.
Can you get your Qurans out? All you Muslims get your Qurans out.
From Adam,
Get your Qurans.
the message of God.
We have to go to the Quran.
Are you going to let me answer the question?
I love that.
Because we believe that from Adam,
No.
all of the prophets,
Adam didn't
all of the
exist.
prophets received revelation from God about the belief of God, the oneness of God. We believe the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that, for example, you will be judged upon the message that you receive. So if somebody's never received a message, for them to just
if you have received it.
for someone who's never
Forget
received a
about the
message,
past. We're
and
talking
he's-
about now. We're talking about now.
and he's on a deserted island somewhere. For him just to look up at the stars and to look up at the oceans and to realize and appreciate that something created all of this, that's enough for him.
How do you know?
In terms of
Has he spoken to you?
in terms of moral code, we all have what is something intrinsic within our hearts, which is what we call fitrah. So even that man or that woman will know when they cause harm to an animal
No, sorry, no.
and the animal is
I want you
squealing
to
in
hand it out
pain,
to your-
they will
I've got
attribute
my
that
version.
what I'm doing is wrong. They will understand that it's wrong, it's not right. And for them to act upon that
hand
naturalistic
it all out.
moral code is enough for them, according to
So they
Islam.
can follow me.
That's what we
while I
believe.
debunk your religion.
Now what he's trying to do He's going to cherry pick one verse of the Quran.
No.
Hold on a second.
What do you mean?
No.
I've got dozens.
Listen to me. He said the way that you translate the Quran, number one, is by.
I read it. That's what it says.
Translate it in the first place.
He said.
That's what it says. I'm just reading what it says.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're reading a translation of an individual whose opinions are that those choice of words are best suited to that verse of the Quran.
Do you read Arabic?
Yes, I do read Arabic.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Hold on.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawm Al-Din.
That won't work. Reciting the Quran won't work. I'm going to get you some Arabic. No. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll tell you what we'll do.
You want to read more?
No. I'll tell you what we'll do.
Are you fluent?
I fluently read it, yes.
He's not. What we're going to do...
Has anyone got an Arab Quran? I'll read it in front of him then.
No.
So you're calling me a liar?
No.
And I'm asking to prove it. You're saying, no. It's making me nervous.
No. I'm going to get some Arabic up now, right? Some random Arabic, and we're going to sit and we're going to watch you
The
read it.
Quran, yes.
No, not the Quran.
What?
Just some Arabic.
You said Quran.
No. I said when we spoke Arabic.
Yeah, Quran.
And you said yes.
The Quranic Arabic, yes.
Not the Quran.
That's not what I said.
We know you've been brainwashed in the Quran. We know that
I
you've
read
been...
Arabic, yes.
No, listen, you can't speak Arabic.
No.
Okay, then. So you don't speak Arabic.
I do read,
Right.
yes.
That doesn't count.
So I'll tell you what I do. You have a translation of the Quran, right?
The English translation,
Right.
yes.
And you know that there are
millions of copies.
You know that there are several
Well, there's different
translations, right?
Slightly different translations.
Exactly. And hold on a second. So whenever there is an opinion like what you're going to show me, I would go to a scholar who does understand Arabic.
Who cares what a scholar says? Who gives a damn?
Because these people are learned within the Arabic language.
They're learned about regurgitating the nonsense in the Quran.
This is ridiculous.
That's what they're learning about doing. I could go to a scholar. I could go to a scholar of Harry Potter. Does that mean that person that Harry, the interpretations of that person's version of Harry Potter is going to be true?
That the book of Harry Potter could not have come from a human being.
What? It comes from a human being.
It does, doesn't it?
It comes from a human being. So does the Quran.
Can you prove that? Can you prove that?
Okay.
It's an easy question. Can
Okay.
you prove that?
Okay.
Can you prove that it comes from a human being?
Can
Can
I?
you prove that? Can
Okay.
you show me any intellectuals that can prove that
Okay.
case?
Okay.
In 14 centuries.
Hold on.
Can you
So
do that?
are you saying?
Can you
Can
do
I?
that?
Can I disprove
Yes.
whether an illiterate
Yes.
Arab
Yes.
sat in the middle of a desert
Yes.
and was visited
Because the experts disagree
by,
with you.
by an angel?
Yes. Because the experts disagree with you.
Okay. I can disprove it because nobody has ever seen an angel.
No. Can you disprove that the,
Okay. Can you disprove
that the Quran
Okay.
came from God? Can you
Okay.
prove that it came from a man?
Okay.
Can you prove that?
Can you disprove?
Can you prove it came from Muhammad?
Okay. Hold on. Can you
Peace be
disprove?
upon him.
Can you disprove?
Yes.
That there is a purple and yellow elephant in the core of Pluto.
I can't see a
right,
purple and yellow
that
elephant.
sings jazz.
I can't see a purple or yellow elephant, but
What-
I can see the
what-
Quran.
No,
So I'm asking you to challenge something that you can see and read and interpret, right?
Listen.
Can you prove to me that this book could have originated from a man in a desert 14
Yes,
years?
absolutely.
How?
Because it condones slavery.
Prove it to me.
Because it condones slavery.
I've just explained that to you.
No, you haven't explained it.
Even if it didn't. Even if it did condone slavery, that would not be a moralistic point because it would simply be a subjective view that you have. Because there's no moral truth. Because 5 centuries
there is a moral truth.
5 centuries ago, your own native
Yes.
Africans were selling Africans as slavery.
Well,
They
yes.
didn't think it was wrong, did they?
Well,
did they think it was wrong?
Listen,
so it was a subjective. So it was a
they did.
subjective
Yes, they
decision.
did.
Why did they think
Millions
it was wrong?
of Africans thought
Maybe
it was wrong.
maybe they
Millions of
thought it was
Africans
right.
thought it was wrong.
They might have thought it was right.
Before
It
then,
doesn't make it right, though,
No,
does it?
they weren't right. They weren't right.
Exactly.
They weren't right.
Exactly.
And hundreds of years
Exactly.
before that,
Exactly.
millions of sub-Saharan Africans and East Africans were being traded and sold by Arabs and Muslims.
Not Muslims.
Yes, they were.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. The Muslims taught the Europeans how to do mass slavery.
Please.
Muslims taught the
Please.
Europeans
Please.
how to do mass slavery.
Please.
Yes.
You need to read your history.
No, I know my history.
You don't know your
I
history at all.
absolutely know my history.
Your views,
Muslims-
your views at best
Listen.
are based on fabricated nonsense and lies.
Okay.
Right? You've got no evidence. I asked you a simple question.
Listen.
If you are truthful and I'm a liar,
Listen.
then produce to me people who have evidence on that book that they can say that is impossible to come from a God because it's got this error, that error, it's all full of mistakes.
Listen.
You can't do that.
Listen.
You can't do that.
We can prove that your book was written by illiterate, desert-dwelling camel
Then
riders.
prove it. Disprove it easily then. Why can't you do
Because they don't know about
Is that the view of the
electricity.
expert? Is that the views of the expert?
They don't know about brain surgery.
Is that the view of the experts?
They don't know about phones.
Is that the view of experts?
They don't know that slavery is wrong.
Morris Bukai. Is that the
They
view of
don't
Morris
know
Bukai?
that subjugating women is wrong.
Is that the view of Morris
They
Bukai?
don't know that it's wrong
Is that the
to
view-
kill
is
people
that the view of Morris
that don't
Bukai?
believe in your God.
You know that's a nonsense argument.
No,
Issa.
no, it's not.
It's a nonsense
No, it's not.
argument.
No, it's not.
It is
No,
a
it's not.
nonsense
No,
argument.
it's not.
Because much of what you said is not even true.
Listen. And they don't.
Because much of what you said
And
is
they
not
don't
true.
think it's wrong.
All of what you said is not true. in fact.
Everything that I've said
It's
is
not true.
absolutely true.
It's a bunch of lies.
Also,
And you base your
let's
argument
test
on-
your
on
morality.
lies.
How do you feel about a 53-year-old marrying a 6-year-old?
Do you know that happened?
Well, how do you feel about it?
No, how do you know that happened?
No, I'm not saying anything happened.
No, so
I'm
why are
just
you asking me?
I'm asking your moral view on that.
But then you
I'm
have-
asking your moral view on
then
that.
you have to ask me whether that did happen or didn't happen.
Well, I don't need to ask you.
Do you believe it
You're
happened?
just- no, Abbas,
Do you believe it happened?
Abbas,
Do you believe that happened?
Abbas,
Do you
Abbas,
believe that happened?
Abbas. Let me just clarify
Do you
something.
believe that happened?
You are just,
Yes.
right,
Do you believe that happened?
an indoctrinated,
Why don't you answer the
brainwashed
question?
Muslim.
Okay, why don't you answer
Right?
my question then? Do you believe that happened?
Well,
Still happening.
Do you believe it happened?
I've asked you a question.
Yeah,
I've asked you a question.
Okay.
I've asked you a question.
When
right?
did that
You can't
happen?
answer it by asking me a question.
When did that happen?
I'm asking you a question. Do you think
Okay.
it's wrong for a 53-year-old to marry a 6-year-old?
And consummate the marriage?
No. Well, apparently. Well, that's my second question. Do you think it's wrong for a 50-year-old, somebody in their mid-50s to consummate a marriage of a 9-year-old?
In today's day and age, I would probably say it's wrong, yes.
It's wrong.
Yes, today's day and age, yes.
So, I mean, what was Muhammad doing then?
Okay.
Consummating a marriage with a 9-year-old
Have you
in
studied,
his mid-50s?
first of all...
Where's the morality?
Hold on a second. That's why I asked you.
Where's the morality?
That's why I asked you.
Yeah.
Do you believe that happened?
Do I believe that happened?
Yes, that a 53-year-old married a 6-year-old. Do you believe that happened?
Well, if Muslims,
No, I'm asking you. Do you believe that happened?
it's a possibility.
Okay, it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Why is it a possibility?
Because that was the savagery and
How did
the
that
immorality
how did that- how
of
did-
Muslims
how
and
did-
Arabs at that
Excuse
time.
me. How did that information get to you today? That this is what's happened?
I've read it in various Muslim texts
Hadith.
and
Okay.
hadiths. Yeah.
And is the only hadith 6 and 9?
Sorry.
Is the only hadith saying of the Prophet, or the saying of Aisha radiallahu anha, the woman that you're talking about,
Yes.
by the way,
Yes.
is the only hadith found as 6 and 9?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll inform you that it's
Right.
not, first of all.
All right. So
There
what does that mean?
are many hadiths, in fact,
Yes.
because the age itself
Yes.
was never an issue within an Islamic context or
Yes.
religion.
Yeah.
It's always about...
So marrying a
so-
6-year-old.
hold
So
on
marrying a
second.
6-year-old
No.
is fine.
6, 9, 12, 11, 15.
Yeah.
The age concept
Yes.
was never an issue in terms of religious text.
Exactly.
It was.
That's my
Hold
point.
on a second.
You just proved my point.
You're not listening to my point.
It
No,
is.
No.
It is.
Just hold
Because
on.
my point
Hold your
is-
horses. Hold your horses. Hold on a second.
Yeah, go on.
It was all about puberty.
Yeah.
When you reach the age of puberty,
Yes.
you may enter into a marriage and you may consummate the marriage. That's Islam.
Exactly.
Now hold on a
Exactly.
second.
And that is why
Hold on a second.
that's why Islam's
Hold
immoral.
on a second.
That is why Islam's
With
immoral.
all due
And
respect.
that's what
With all due respect.
that's what
Those
negates your
people-
God.
Those experts
Yes.
who have studied, hold on. Those experts who have studied social dynamics and society and morality,
Yes.
this is what they say. This is
Who cares
hold on a
about what they say?
second.
I don't care about what they
They're
say.
the experts. This is what they say.
What, it's Islamic
Hold on a
experts.
second.
Of course they would say
moral
that.
code cannot be applied retrospectively.
What do you mean?
You know why? You can't apply moral code retrospectively. In other words, you can't say because it's immoral today, it has to be immoral that many years ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No, you can't say that.
I can.
And the
And
reason,
I can and I
the reason-
do.
And the reason why you can't say that
Yeah, go on.
is because atheists, Jews, Christians, Muslims, they all practiced, certainly the Judo-Islamic law
Yes.
was puberty.
Yes.
And nobody objected to the wedding
Yes.
at that time based upon the fact that she would have been pubescent.
Yeah, at 9 years old.
At the time, whether she was 9 or not is another question.
Well,
because there are
every single text that I've read on the matter.
Well, you're wrong.
Well,
you're wrong.
Every single text that I've read on the matter says he was 9.
There are more texts.
There's a couple that I've read that says he was 10.
No, and there are many that are 14, and consummation at 9. There's one that's as high as 19. However, it's convenient for you. It's convenient for you to pick on. It's an emotive issue. I know.
Yeah.
It's convenient for you to pick on 6 and 9.
Yes.
Because for you that proves your case.
However, what I find amazing is the amount of so-called Islamic Muslim scholars that defend it. Now,
because the defense of it is very, very easy.
Yes.
Because pubescent, a person that turns to puberty is regarded to be an adult.
Well, that's disgraceful.
And at that point, they're able to hold it Islamically.
Yeah.
Now, socially,
that's why Islam is a disgrace.
Our social conditioning today is not what their social conditioning was 14 centuries
I know,
ago.
that's why they're barbaric.
Our life expectancy today is not the same that it was 14 centuries ago. Okay? Hold on a second. Our education system today was not the education system of the age of 16.
That's why you shouldn't be organising your life around such a barbaric, immoral book.
What age would you put as acceptable morally to you? For example, to consummate a marriage.
Consummate a marriage, 16, 17.
16, 17, yeah?
16, 17.
In Panama it's 14. Is that immoral? In Spain it's 12. Is that immoral to you?
In Spain it's 13 actually, not 12.
Okay, is that immoral to you?
Yeah.
That's immoral, yeah? Hold on.
Yeah.
So are you saying therefore all Spaniards that do marry that age are immoral then basically?
I would say that there is an immorality in and I
base that upon what?
The maturity, the potential maturity of teenage girls.
What if she's very mature at 13?
Well,
what if she's very educated at 13?
That's a very, very
is it still immoral?
That's a very, very subjective thing. But
I know why you're struggling.
I'll tell you what.
I know why you're struggling.
That's a massive difference.
I know why you're struggling.
That's a massive difference.
I know why you're struggling now.
That's a massive difference.
The reason why you're struggling
and 9.
You see, the reason why you're struggling.
No, the reason why you're making so many excuses.
Because your moral
The reason why you're making so many excuses is because you can't reconcile.
I've got you on the hook now.
And no.
Listen, the fish is on the hook. I'm not letting go now.
Listen.
I'm reeling you in.
Listen.
I want to reel you in, boy.
The reason why
I want to reel you in.
I'll tell you why you're struggling.
It's too late.
I'll tell you why you're struggling.
Listen.
Because you can't reconcile a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old.
First of all,
you can't reconcile
First of all, for me,
right?
Looking at the evidence,
hold
on a second.
Abbas, you're an indoctrinated Muslim.
Let me finish.
You're an indoctrinated brainwashed Muslim.
Let me finish. First of all, the 6 and 9 issue is an issue that you're not an expert on hadith, clearly.
Of course I'm not.
No.
Of course I'm not.
So you've looked at one hadith.
Listen,
you looked at one hadith.
No, I've looked at a couple of them.
No, you haven't, because that narration comes from a gentleman who leaves Mecca, Medina, in the age of 17. He goes to Iraq.
I've looked at two.
And he was
one by Aisha herself, one by Aisha herself, and one by another guy.
And he said, and he was known to be a little bit senile.
Yes.
And they said that the hadith in Iraq should not be. And when you look at the other hadith, that's why hadith is a science. Hadith is a science. Hadith is a science, right? And there are other hadiths that point towards an age that's much older. However, for me the age, if she was pubescent, then for me at that time, through their social dynamics,
because you were there,
and their life expectancy,
you were there,
and their education system,
you were
that
there.
was acceptably norm at the time.
Because you knew
hold on a second.
You knew the people that wrote the Quran.
Hold on a second. Now, just as you think it's immoral for Spaniards to marry at 13, right?
No.
That's what you said.
No.
That's what you said.
Consummate
the marriage at 13.
Yeah, definitely.
You think that's immoral, right?
Yeah, I do.
Based upon a subjective reasoning through nurture and nature.
No.
It's not an empirical truth or evidence which you can give that this is how it should be.
So do you? So
this is
Abbas,
your view.
Let's get some clarity.
This is your view.
Let's get some clarity.
This is your view.
Do you think that it's right and correct? I'll go back to my original question.
Yes.
Do you think it's right and correct for a 50-odd-year-old man
Yes.
to consummate
Yes.
a marriage with a 9-year-old?
I think it's totally acceptable to consummate a marriage in free will with somebody who's pubescent.
And this is-
and
and
hold
this
on a
is-
second. Who's
this-
pubescent and agrees and conforms to that marriage. Yes. Are you saying
A
to me,
9-year-old.
would I let my 9-year-old girl marry a man today?
A 9-year-old.
No, I wouldn't. And there's a reason for that.
A 9-year-old.
And the reason why I wouldn't is that our social dynamics today, our system
are
of
far superior.
our system of education,
Are far superior.
our life expectancy,
Are far superior.
we're not a rural community.
Are far superior.
We're not a rural community looking after goats and looking
They're
after
far
dates.
superior.
You understand
Abbas,
my point?
Abbas.
We're living in a different
Abbas.
system.
Abbas,
And because we live in a
listen to
different
yourself.
system,
Listen to
because
yourself.
we live in a different system, of course I would want to
Abbas,
delay that as
listen
much as
to
possible.
yourself.
Now that's
Listen
just, that's logical.
Abbas, listen
and
to
that
what
is
you've just...
reasonable. That is
no, it's
totally
not.
reasonable.
Abbas, listen to
You
what
wish
you've
to
just said.
attribute
Abbas.
moral code retrospectively
Abbas,
and
listen.
claim that it's immoral
Abbas,
because you feel it's
listen.
immoral today
Abbas.
based upon your education
Abbas.
system where you're born. If you were
Listen
born
to
in,
what you've
if you
just
were born
said,
in
Abbas.
Africa,
Abbas,
you
listen.
might think differently.
No.
So where
No,
you're born,
not
where
no,
you're born,
not where,
and how you grown
not
up,
where I was
and
born
where you're
in Africa.
educated,
Not
and
where,
where you're
not-
educated.
Not where my
Okay,
family was
but
born in
certainly
Africa.
some other parts of Africa, you may well accept it, right?
Well, there's
Exactly.
well,
That's what I'm
well,
trying to explain to you. That your
but-
morality is
but-
based
but-
purely
No,
on your subjective
but-
reasoning.
but-
and you know what the biggest evidence is? The
Listen,
biggest evidence is that
Abbas,
75%.
there are
75%.
graduations of reality.
I'll let you
There
talk.
are-
75% of our Islam comes from Aisha, her narrations of what she saw and heard the Prophet do. Do you have one hadith
Listen.
that says that she was intimidated?
Listen.
She was scared?
Listen.
65 to 75%
Listen.
of our hadith come from Aisha radiallahu anha.
Listen. What you've got to appreciate.
Do you have one hadith that she says she was scared?
Abbas.
She was subdued.
Abbas.
She was overwhelmed.
Abbas.
One hadith.
Abbas.
No.
Abbas.
No, you don't. Not
Abbas.
one. Not one.
Or was it the Jewish lady?
Abbas, listen.
Not one.
Listen. The hadiths.
Sahih Bukhari,
Yes.
5825.
Yes.
When Aisha says
Yes.
that most of the believing women
Yes.
are suffering the most
Yes.
because she saw another woman whose skin was greener than her dress. Isn't
Because
that
of the
subject
blows
to
received by the man.
subjugation by the husbands.
Yeah, if that's happening, it's wrong. Nobody's gonna
Abbas,
accept that
again,
as being valid
the
or
secular
being right.
Muslims coming out of you. You
No,
just
not
can't
at
keep
all.
it down. You can't
Not
keep
at
it
all.
down, can you?
But look,
You can't keep it down.
I'm going.
Listen,
But listen to me.
listen,
Listen to me very carefully.
listen,
I'm going
Abbas.
to all the renowned scholars.
Who cares? We don't care about your scholars.
Interpret
We don't care about your scholars.
Well,
We don't care about your scholars.
what do you care about?
I care about human beings in general.
No, you don't.
Of course I do.
How do you stop them drinking then and taking drugs and having sex out of marriage and
Listen,
getting
you-
sexually transmitted diseases?
you-
How do you stop the 100,000 children that are living in
Listen,
one
listen.
household where both
Listen,
parents are alcoholics, one or both are alcoholics? How do you stop those issues?
Listen.
If you love humanity, show me a way of stopping all that hardship.
You work with people. You educate people.
And is that helping?
You accommodate
Is that
people
helping?
emotionally.
And is that
Yes,
reducing?
it does.
No, it doesn't.
There's
Drug abuse is on the
listen,
increase.
listen.
Alcohol abuse is on the increase,
Listen.
despite that education.
What evidence? What evidence?
Islam is on
What evidence?
Unfortunately,
What evidence? Oh, for God's sake! What evidence? What evidence? What is this? It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
Do you know what I mean?
Overwhelming evidence.
That is why we have to fight to stop Islam.
Overwhelming evidence.
Islam is creeping up on us, and we have to fight to stop it.
And the more you fight it, that's it. That's
And
it. And the more you fight it,
Stop going into all that nonsense.
and funny
Say that.
And funny thing is, the more you fight it, the more it's time out. The more you fight it, he said, the faster it spreads.
Listen.